This is episode 507. And before we get into 9 ways to build resilience and grit, I'm going to do a quick review on last time's podcast, which is the 6 dimensions of wellness. And wellness is an important topic. It's just not having disease. It's not being absent of the disease. It's being, wellness helps you achieve your full potential. And many times there's been a lot of associations between wellness and finding your purpose. And when you are firing on all 6 cylinders, these 6 dimensions of wellness, you're then able to receive information, get insights into perhaps your purpose if you already aren't on that path. So if you want more information, go back and review last week's podcast. There's also some show notes there. You can get it at warriormindcoach.com. So again, these are just going to be a review and not going into much detail. The detail is in the last week's podcast. So the first one is occupational. And the wellness here means that, are you doing something you love? Are you involved with a company or a career that you love? Physical, are you physically fit? Are you nutrition? Are you moving? Are you lifting, stretching? Cardio, are you hydration? All of that falls under the physical. Social, are you out there active? Do you have not social like Facebook and LinkedIn, but social? Are you out there with a group of friends and families? Are you socially connected? Are you out there with people? Intellectual, are you continually to learn something new consistently? That may be weekly, monthly, or yearly, but are you continue to expand your intelligence? Spiritual, or do you take time for yourself to pray and meditate and be with one and look at your values and just resonate with the energy and the vibration of the universe around you? And emotional, are you emotionally aware of the emotions that you're feeling, and are you able to label them, and are you able to manage them to help you reach your full potential? So those are the 6 dimensions of wellness. And again, this is great. These 6 dimensions, actually I have a lot of clients that work on these 6 dimensions. So if this is something that intrigues you, contact me, request your introductory consultation from warriormindcoach.com, and we can actually get into wellness where you are and create a roadmap for you to achieve wellness in all these 6 areas. So, you may be skilled, you may be talented, educated, brilliant, good looking, but if you're not resilient, persistent, and gritty, you will never, ever, ever make the most of those other attributes. Think about this. Think about the 5 most successful people you know. And they don't have to be friends, because we know other people. We know Tony Robbins in a sense, but we don't know him. So either think of people that you directly know or indirectly know, 3 degrees of separation. And on average, they're probably not that talented if you look at it. However, they know how to get things done and persist. That is true. All top achievers do that. Resilience and grit might be the missing ingredients for your quest for success. So what is resilience? Well, it's a psychological resilience is the ability to mentally or emotionally cope with a crisis or return to the pre-crisis status quickly. Bouncing back, basically. So what is grit then? Grit is a passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. So the key there is meaningful goals. So you have these goals, you go after them, it's a passion and a perseverance. So you have the grit, and the resilience is the crisis may come up during that achievement of the goal, and can you bounce back and continue? So that's a quick definition of resilience and grit, because we're going to go over the 9 ways to build resilience and grit. Stay in contact with others. Number 1. When times are tough, it's natural to crawl into a hole and be by yourself. This is a huge mistake. when we have, right, so this gets back to wellness. We talked about the social part of it. When we have friends and families we can lean on and help us through the tough times, this is going to be so instrumental in you achieving success. You're more capable with a support system. When you have something there, when you have a group of people there to help you. And this is why coaching is so important too. You may not have a great group of friends and family, but if you have a coach, that can be part of your support system. So you're more capable with a support system than without. Next thing, have high hopes, right? That old song, I'm not going to sing it, but there's have high hopes, because it's easier to stand strong when you expect things to improve, right? This is the pessimistic, the optimistic. Yes, there is this optimistic. We don't want to look at things with our head in the sand, Pollyanna, but we do want to have high hopes that whatever is happening, things will improve. If you go back and look at your life, you went through some tough times and things improved. There are parts of your life that improved. Maybe not that one directly, but there are parts of your life. When we have high hopes, we unconsciously will look for the path for things to get better, and then we will take it. If we don't, we will unconsciously close off any escape from the situation we're in, and we will stay caught in that quagmire. So high hopes is absolutely essential. Know that the most successful people are those with the most resilience. What that means is that it might be easier to be wealthy and successful, but becoming wealthy and successful is anything but. So once you are there, it might be easy to attain it, but it's not easy to get there. And when you start looking at your successful people, here's what's interesting is a lot of my clients will come to me and they go, I want to be successful, I want this, and we talk about it, and then I ask them about people that they may know that are successful. Well, they inherited it. They did this. They did. So they see people successful, but then they find all the reasons why they don't give them credit for that success, which really means that they're not going to be successful because they're discounting the hard work that somebody else gave. They're finding a problem in that solution. So when we look at successful people, we have to realize, we got to know deep down inside that they are resilient. And when we know somebody who is successful is resilient, and when they're not that more talented than we are, the missing ingredient is that resilience and grit. And so we have to know, you have to do research. This is why biographies are so important, because reading biographies of successful people, you will find out how resilient and how gritty they are. Guaranteed, you're not going to find a biography out there that says, okay, here's the biography. I was born into a rich family, I stayed in a rich family, and I am rich because of it. Even if that part of that was true, born into a rich family, there was always challenges that test the resilience and grit of somebody. So the most successful people were willing to take on challenges that the average person would avoid like the plague. Guaranteed, you look at that. Look at Tony Robbins. He has a great backstory on how he came up after basically being in poverty. There are many, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders, all of these individuals have achieved great things, but they were willing to do what the others were doing. There's a saying that I learned a while ago, observe the masses and do the opposite. And that's what successful people do. They observe the masses, do the opposite. The opposite's going to be tough. It's going to be challenging, but this is where your resilience and grit come in. Take excellent care of yourself. That goes back to well-being, right, with the physical. So no matter what's going on in your life, you still need food, rest, love, exercise, fun, hydration. You need to take excellent care of yourself. And I would say what I would add to this is take excellent care of yourself in the form of those 6 dimensions of well-being. So we could take this number 4 and chunk it down to 6 dimensions of well-being and make sure that you're physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually well. You're intellectually well, right? All of those things, that is taking care of yourself, is being well-being. Be active, not passive. So it's a lot easier when you're doing something to make progress. So if you want something to happen, you got to take action. It seems so obvious, but there are a lot of people, a lot of my clients come to me, I want to do this, but and I'll do it tomorrow. Or I want to do this, but I have too much on my plate. I want to do this, but so what I gently, not so gently, share with them is that their dilemma is created by them. They are responsible for everything they put on their plate. They are responsible for how much time they waste. They are responsible for everything. So if they don't have time to be active now, they need to get rid of some of that so that they can have it and not be passive, not wait. So in order to be successful, you got to take action. Action every single day. You got to be active, not passive. Rather than passively waiting for things to get better, take steps to improve your situation. Well, I'll just wait a little bit. I'm sure things will get better. It's like your car runs out of gas. Well, I'm just going to turn the car off. I'll check back tomorrow because I'm sure it's going to be better. Well, no, that doesn't happen. So you got to take action. Number 6, give yourself mental breaks. No matter how resilient you may be, take regular breaks to recharge your battery. That can be in the period of a day, a couple of hours, weeks. The Pareto method is really good. Work for 20 to 30 minutes, take 10 minutes off, and repeat. Those are great mental breaks if you're in a desk job that you're sitting in front of a computer all the time. And then those would be the daily breaks. Then you can have the weekly breaks like Saturday and Sunday. You take a break, you get away, you unplug. I challenge you to unplug for at least one day this weekend. That's a mental break. And then monthly, maybe get away for the weekend. Yearly, your 2-week, 3-week vacation. You need to give yourself mental breaks. We think we are capable of doing a lot without rest, but the quality of what we do and the productivity diminishes. It's been proven over and over again. You need to give yourself some breaks. Remind yourself of all the adversity you've overcome since childhood. Yes, we're going to go back into regression therapy here. No, not really. But when we doubt our resilience and grit, we often have to go back and look at situations that we were resilient and gritty. And this takes a trip down memory lane to go look at all the times. And when we look at them now through our adult eyes, that event may not seem that big, but to the 6-year-old, it was massive. And how did the 6-year-old deal with the bullying? How did the 6-year-old deal with the model plane breaking? How did the 6-year-old deal with that? So when that younger version of you dealt with something, they had much more limited resources than you have now. And look at how they survived. They just didn't survive. They thrived, because if you're listening to this, you're thriving at some level because you have the internet connection, you have a computer, you have a smartphone. So you're thriving compared to what that happened many, many years ago. So take a look at yourself. Maybe make a checklist. You can start with the big major ones. I know we all have these big major ones. Maybe even more recently, you went through a divorce. You went through a bankruptcy. You went through being laid off. All of those things. But remind yourself of all the adversity that you have overcome. No one's life is smooth sailing 100% of the time. No one. And we often don't give ourselves enough credit for the adversity that we have overcome. You've already overcome many obstacles. Remind yourself of your past successes during challenging times. So number 8, live a life that revolves around your interests. If you have a job you hate, it's hard to have a lot of grit and resilience. And this gets back to well-being, right? About the occupational. We want to be on a job that has, as Carlos Castaneda says, a path with heart. We want to be in a career that we can feel energized about, that we can feel good about. Yes, there's the minutia of the day-to-day activities, the paperwork, the expense reports, the reporting to your boss, the whatever it is. But all in all, is what you're doing, does it make your heart sing? If not, you may want to look at another career. And that's what I can help with. I'm not a career coach, but I am definitely help people find their purpose, identify their purpose, and how they can use the Ikigai model to find what you love and get paid for it. So life really needs to be around your interest. And if you have a job that you hate, if you're doing a hobby that you hate, go to a different hobby. Do something. Make sure that what you're doing, it energizes you. It creates excitement in your life, because it's much easier to have perseverance while doing something you love. Number 9, here it is. Hang around with resilient people. Birds of a feather flock together. You become more like the people you spend most of the time with. If you're with people who haven't succeeded, who give up after the first road bump, who don't even set goals, you may ask yourself, how are they providing value in your life? And this may sound cold, but it's not being selfish, but if you have a goal and objectives that you want to achieve, and you're hanging around with people that don't have objectives, that don't have goals, or give up easily, you are going to be infected. It's kind of like a flu, a cold, a virus. When you hang around the people that have it, you get it yourself. You want to distance yourself, put a mask on from these unresilient people, and move on and find those who are resilient. There's a lot of places to find them. Meetup groups, you find successful people in your neighborhood, in your area, in your town, Chamber of Commerce. We want to be around successful people. Find them and hang around with them. Choose your friends wisely, because your friends will affect your attitude will affect your behavior, and your behavior affects your results. So let me ask you, what could you do with your life if you were the most resilient and gritty person you knew? You'd be unstoppable. You would be able to accomplish anything. Guaranteed. You look back on the goals that you wanted to get and that you didn't get because you stopped. You stopped at some point. Now, why did you stop? Because of lack of resilience and lack of grit. It doesn't matter how long it takes to hit the goal, you still hit it. But imagine if you had that, you would be unstoppable. Most people spend their time trying to improve their skills. Oh, I need to be a better this. I need to be a better craftsman. I need to be a better salesman. I need to be better this. But it's more productive to learn how to apply your skills regardless of the situation. So you have these skills, X, Y, and Z. You don't need A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Take X, Y, and Z and apply them to the situation with resilience and grit, and you'll be more successful than a person that has a whole arsenal of tools. Build resilience and grit into your life and enjoy greater success. And again, if you have challenges with how to do it, how to put it together, contact me. Request your introductory consultation. We will talk about resilience and grit. But think about it. Think about the times that you gave up, that you had a goal and gave up. That means lack of resilience and lack of grit. Now think of goals that you'd like to get, but you talk yourself out of them because you say, I always give up. Well, that's lack of resilience and lack of grit. Now think of the goals that you'd like to get and go, man, if I had resilience and grit, what could I accomplish? That's what building resilience and grit can do. And if you need help, contact me. Go to warriormindcoach.com, scroll down to the bottom, ask for the introductory consultation, and let's get going. So next time, yep, you've seen the pattern if you've been here long enough. Not too sure what we're going to talk about, but guaranteed it's going to be great. If you want some more information, either for the introductory consultation, some of my blog posts, or other podcasts, please go to warriormindcoach.com and follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.